Alright guys, another thing we want to talk about is the constructability when it comes to how you attach the Panobridge to the 14s. Now, they just basically attach with like a coin or a screwdriver, right? There's just a simple, you can see right here, there's a simple screw. That's fine, except that, you know, when you want to share that, like I just did the other day with a friend of mine. We were out walking around, I had nods on and look at the stars. I'm like, hey bro, you want to see what I'm seeing? And so when I used the integrated components bridge, I just unscrewed it, gave it to him, called it good, okay? Because they have these little wings right here. Now I know we don't want to rip off somebody else's design, but that's a nice little feature, right? It made it very easy for me to unscrew it, unclip my lanyard, and hand him the 14. One thing I'll also say, when you are actually panned out, again, you have this kind of zone, right, that I told you is kind of less than ideal when it comes to depth perception and when it comes to clarity. The benefit about that is you can take another device, a handheld device, maybe a thermal for instance, and actually be able to view it. I don't have a thermal right now to show you that, but it does work. Running and gunning, and that's what a lot of folks want to hear about, is how does this work when you are shooting under nods. Now obviously when you are shooting under your standard dual tubes with your 40-degree field of view, people talk about using, you know, lights and lasers, which work fine. There's no issue whether you're running them underneath, when you're running them with the 40-degree or the pan, right? I mean, your laser works just fine. Just pick it up, tap your laser, illuminate your target, you're good to go. Passive aiming. Passive aiming for a rifle, at least for me, was more challenging. So I am running a Unity tactical mount. It's higher, right? It's for the ability to shoot under nods. So when I pull it up to passively aim, when I'm normally underneath kind of 40 degrees, it just comes up and boom, there I am. Now, when I'm panned out, okay, a little bit here, adjust it, I actually have to tilt my head, okay? Not much I don't tilt it much, but enough to where it doesn't feel natural when it comes, for me personally, shooting, okay? So from a rifle standpoint, shooting passively, it takes some getting used to. Shooting a pistol passively when they're panned out, no big deal, okay? So I have a hollow sun here, picking up the dots, super natural, super easy, panned or not panned, okay? Not a problem there. So be aware of that. Be aware when you manipulate a firearm, okay? When you manipulate a firearm, whether you're trying to, let's see, here we go. When you're trying to do a reload, right? Okay, do a reload. I made the mistake last night where, again, depth perception is an issue. I tapped my right nod. Okay, when I tapped it, it adjusted the nod, right? It changed it. Now, when it changes it, then your vision gets kind of goofy, right? So that little football becomes way more noticeable. Your focus kind of gets off, and so you're like, well, what just happened, right? So be mindful about the distance that you're playing with. That just comes through training. Again, I've had these for, you know, a handful of days. That's about it, not even a week. So be mindful of manipulating your firearm, or even just, you know, grabbing something, you know, if you're in your house, you know, hitting a door jamb, things like that. You can tighten these things down, but if you do bump them, you're going to screw up your vision, okay? Let's see what else here. Let me make sure I get everything in. Okay. That's basically it. I think I hit just about all the things I wanted to talk about. Again, we talked about the price point. When it comes to, you know, is it worth it? Obviously, that's up to you and your pocketbook. What I would say is that, you know, a normal bridge, you know, like this integrated components bridge, I want to say ran me maybe $350. I could be wrong on that, don't quote me, but I think that's what it was. You can find other bridges for a little bit cheaper. You can also find bridges that are more expensive. And so I'd say, you know, you're paying over $500, maybe closer to $600 after it's all said and done for that. Is it worth it? For me personally, yeah. I mean, if I was going to go to a bridge that was going to run me $350 to $500, that range, might as well pay a little bit extra bucks to get the ability for the additional weight savings, the flexibility, and the ability to see panel. You know, is it right for you? Well, if you have a single 14 that you want to upgrade to duals, maybe it is right for you. You know, think about that. I mean, you know, if you're just going to go dedicated duals, buy your 31. If you really want true Panovision, go pay for quads, right? I mean, if you have 40K to spend on quads, ball out, right? So I think it's a good investment. I'm very happy with them. Time will tell how well they hold up. I'm very pleased with the customer service. Not a whole lot I can say other than those are my first impressions when it comes to the Noisefighters Panobridge. I hope this was informative. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them best I can. I do recommend you check out Noisefighters' videos on the Panobridge. He has some cool video of him driving under the panned out kind of mode, so to speak, as well as kind of walking through some spaces. So you really kind of get a sense of what he's seeing. I can't show you that right now because it's daytime. But what I would say is there's also a few other contributors that are doing reviews on it if you're interested. I get nothing out of this. It's just me informing you, the consumer, on this particular product. I know a lot of tier 1 guys have been using this in the T&E phase for the past 12 months or so, and it sounds like the reports are pretty positive. So hopefully that was worth something to you. Thanks for watching. Have fun, stay safe, and go play in the dark.